Are you a life coach, or maybe a transition coach, or maybe you're a trainer? Maybe you help people uncover what it is, what their life's purpose is, and you don't really have a system to do that other than your own intuition and your own training. What if you had a process that you could walk your clients through, and at the end of that, have their life purpose in the palm of your hands? Hey, Sue, what do you think about that for a starter?
That's pretty impressive, Michael, and it's a pretty good summary of actually what you can do with this process developed.
Well, are you one of those people that's not even sure about your life's purpose? You might be confused about that. Well, today's show's going to be for you. Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Losier. I'm the author and proud author of the new book called Your Life's Purpose. Like my other two books, Law of Attraction and Law of Connection, it is a process book. It is a self-help book, which means you need to help yourself. I won't be there and Sue won't be there when you have to walk through the processes so you can find out what your life's purpose is. But I've written the book so you can help yourself with the 5-step process. And my friend Sue here, we're both in beautiful Victoria. I'm going to bring her on in a second. She has been using the process in my book in her coaching practice. And I was very excited to hear that and brought her in today. And we're going to have a quick chat. So if you're a life coach or a trainer, or if you're looking for your life's purpose, we've got some things for you to learn today. Good morning, Sue, and welcome to a special edition of Hangout with Michael on a Saturday morning.
Morning, Michael. Yeah, it's good to be here with you in this beautiful city that we have, and it's the sun shining. It's fantastic.
Well, good. So tell us about yourself.
So I am a life transitions coach. I absolutely love helping people who are in life or career transition. That could be a midlifer perhaps who's wanting to change their career. They're not loving what they're doing. It could also be somebody who's chosen to move to Victoria. Actually, I love to support new people to coming to this beautiful city to have a really smooth transition. Yeah, and part of what I found is that life transitions are the perfect time to not just figure out how to get through that transition, but to pause and actually ask yourself, what do I want? If I was trying to create the best rest of my life, what would that look like? And one of the key components is in your book, in your process, is uncovering what fulfills you so that you can consciously bring more of that into your life.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, I think I talked my friend this week out of going to study for a certain career when I told him the reality of that. I said, the reality of that job is that you're going to be with somebody for 55 minutes and you can't talk to them. Boy, he said, really? I said, no. And you won't have time before the next one comes, so you won't have no connection. Your connections will be your hands, but you won't have any intimacy conversations. You won't get, and he said, oh, I never thought about that. And I really made him think about that. And I said, in my experience with you, here's something that's important to you, which are the fulfillment needs. So just a little sidebar, Sue. In my book, Your Life's Purpose, I teach people, well, I'm going to give away the secret right now because I think I know. Yeah, I do. Smarty pants me. I think I know what everybody's life purpose is. In my head, everyone's life purpose is to experience joy, is to feel good. So if that's the case, the question remains, what do I need to be experienced to feel good? So in my book, I have a list of 30 fulfillment needs. These are needs. I'll give you a couple of examples, alphabetically. Accomplishment. Some people like to have the feeling of that I feel accomplished. Or the word achievement. They're close but different. How about the word acknowledgement? Approval, attention. By the way, they're not all A's. How about recognition and safety and influence and fun and freedom? So my friend that thought this job would give him those that would fulfill him, it would fulfill him financially, but none of his needs would get met. And when our needs aren't met, Sue, we say, wow, am I ever bored? Am I ever bored? Well, when you're bored, it means you're not getting your fulfillment needs met. So that's what we help people do. And at the end of the process, you'll have started with 30 fulfillment needs, narrowed down to the 4. So Sue and I are going to talk about, now that we know our 4, so big deal. We need to know about that. But we got a couple of people saying hello, Sue, so we're going to acknowledge them, and then we're going to hear from you. Our friend Sylvia Bellini, she's calling in from London, England. She's saying, hello, cloudy in London now this evening, but we've had all sorts of weather here. And she said, anyway, so glad you're here, and thank you for the fabulous Facebook Live. Gwen saying, hello, I feel spoiled today this weekend with all your shows. Yeah, it is a Michael Marathon this weekend. Juliet saying, just started my life coaching practice. Well, Juliet, Sue has got some very good information for you today about how this book is helping her, so I'm glad that you joined us back. Juliet saying, oh, yeah, I am so much with you. She said, feeling good is my thing. So she likes to do that, too. Our friend Delilah, she goes, whoop, whoop, Michael's on a roll. Beautiful Saturday. Victoria Fuller saying hello. So we've got people watching live. So here's the premise of my work. The purpose of life is experience joy. Some people say, well, no, my purpose in life is to be a healer or a mother or a singer. And I'm saying, no, there are strategies to bring you joy. And some people say, I don't know what brings me joy. So, oh, by the way, if you're watching and you think, boy, I'd love to have a list of those words, you can do that. You can go to hangoutwithmichael.com/life purpose, and you can subscribe to get a copy of these. Matter of fact, Sue, in my book, I have 5 processes. This list will give them the first process. Remember, there's 33 here. We want people to whittle them down. So download this. We will tell you the first step. You can whittle it down. Then the book, of course, talks about the other 4 styles. So tell us more about how you've been using this process with your clients.
Well, what I found, Michael, is that I was doing work with my clients around their values, their strengths, but the fulfillment piece, I'd done a little bit of work on it, but I had nothing that really kind of gave them the results that your process does. So what I've actually done now, I totally incorporated it. It's a mandatory part of what I do with my clients, and every single one of them has really enjoyed the process, found it quite fascinating. Generally speaking, there's one fulfillment need that perhaps they hadn't really acknowledged, but once it was surfaced, they realized, yes, that is what's missing. That's why I get upset about that. That's why I hated that job. So it's just very, very valuable information. I'm going to share a little piece of information that was kind of fun. It is related to one of those fulfillment needs, which is fun. And I've been surprised, and my clients have been surprised, how many of them find that fun is really important and realize that they actually don't have enough of it in their life. So part of the planning process is, well, how are you going to get more fun? What does that look like?
Yes. Well, you know, what's interesting, you bring up a point where sometimes people don't own it or they didn't acknowledge it, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. People say, ooh, that feels yucky. I'm going to do a quick shout out to some more people watching soon. I'm going to tell people what my 4 is. And then we're going to talk about the seminar that we did with your crew at your workplace. And some of the results, I was flattered, actually. We're going to say hello to some new watchers. We have Danny Walker that's hanging out with. Hey, Danny, your life's purpose is experience joy and feel good. What are you doing to make that happen? Our friend Delilah's watching. Roger Leck is watching. Christine Gallagher is watching. My friend Eric Carlisle, Jessica, Suzanne, Douglas is watching, and Victoria Fuller. They're all clicking on saying they like it. If you like it, say so. If you love it, show me a heart. If you are stimulated by this, or you know someone that doesn't know their life purpose, or another coach that might need to know the process, go ahead, copy the link and share it with them right now. So, yeah, so you reminded me about my very first job. I
think you should share it.
16 years old, and I lived in Eastern Canada, and I was so excited, and I got my first job. Now, I didn't know about fulfillment needs, but I knew what bored meant because I lived in the country, so I was bored a lot as a kid. So I was going to the city to go to work. I was so excited. So I was reminded about this at a seminar when I was talking about fulfillment needs, and I told the audience what my fulfillment needs were. And then I said, and to audience, I said, yeah, and I said, I didn't really like my first job. And honestly, that was many years ago. And my sister, who was in the audience, she said, oh, I remember it well. She said, you called me at noon crying to come pick you up, but don't tell mom and dad. And then I remembered that. I said, oh, I did too. So first, Sue, I'm going to tell you what my top 4 fulfillment needs are. Now, they were prevalent when I was 15 and 16 years old, just like they are today. But When I didn't get them met, I was bored, and then I also got them met destructively. You know? Yeah. Now, as an adult, as a businessman, I'm getting them met constructively, but these weren't met very positively. So here's my top 4 fulfillment needs. In other words, when these needs are present, I am on. What am I? I'm on. I am on, just like I am right now. This is my second Facebook Live today in 3 hours. What makes me do this? Well, I'm fulfilled. Fulfillment need number 1 is attention or attentiveness. So say yes if I'm getting that.
Yes, you are.
Sure. Now, the other question would be, so attention. I love when people are attentive. I do Facebook Live, people are attentive. I do book signings and seminars, and attentive. Boy, you get that, man, I'm almost there. My second fulfillment need is intimacy. But intimacy means into, me, see. It means I like talking about personal things. When I have to talk about cars and weather and sports and blah, 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 I am fading out because it's not an intimate conversation. So you want to get my attention, let's talk about intimate things, your goals and your dreams and your relationships and your challenges and that's juicy to me. You and I never talk about sports and cars and stuff. Like we're right into the stuff. That's important. So attention, intimacy. Third one is influencing people in a positive way. Am I doing that now? Did I do it this morning? Did I do it on my Friday Hangout show? No, yes. Bookstores, interviews, radio shows, my Friday live Hangout show, this one on Saturday. And my last one is freedom. Now, when I get those 4 things met, I'm on. Knowing I was doing this today, I was excited yesterday, knowing I was going to get all my needs met today. What a constructive way to get my needs met. Attention, intimacy, influencing people in a positive way, and freedom. Now, roll back to my first job. So the sister drives me to work. She lets me off. It looked pretty quiet there, and I kind of thought it would be. But 2 hours into this job, I was crying. I was mowing lawns at a graveyard. So did any of my needs even clearly got met? None of them. It was the worst job I ever. And then I got a job in a restaurant. I loved it. I was a super waiter. I loved it. I got all my needs met there. So one of the cues is if you're not feeling fulfilled, then the question is, what's missing? What on this list is missing? If you're bored at home, what's missing? If you're bored in your relationship, what is missing? So I'm going to take a couple more questions and say hello. We have our friend Danny Walker, all capital letters, Danny Walker, is asking me, what is the name of the program that you're using that allows you to do interview-style live streams? It is called bluejeans.com. And tell me what you think of the content today, Donnie. We have Louis Marte Matos. He is from the Dominican Republic, and he's congratulations on your new book. I've read all of your books. They are great. Thank you. I love hearing that. And I'm just scrolling down. We have John in Verarity watching. Hello, Michael and Sue. Loving the stimulating Saturday. Don Bohm saying, hello, Michael, Sue. Warm and sunny Illinois. Whoop, whoop. We have my friend Ellie's in the house again. So we got lots of people watching live. We have lots of people leaving comments. We have Michael Jensen. He is from Aruba. And Hannah Appel, she is from Israel. I don't know where Donnie Walker sent me a heart. Donna sent me a heart. Jessica. That's it. So you know what? We're going to carry on. Sue, why don't you tell me, first I want to talk about when you asked me to come into your mentoring coaching program with the woman. Tell me about that experience. Tell our friends about that.
It was great because I knew about the book, and I'd invited Michael to come and just work with a group of women that were in my network that I knew. And he led us through a workshop that was a process for them to uncover these needs. And it was absolutely fascinating for them and us to watch them uncover these needs and sort of share them with one another. And Michael's very good at asking questions about, okay, now what does that mean? What are you going to do with that? Because that's the key, right? Get the information, but then do something with it. And we had a lot of fun. In fact, I'm looking forward to having a follow-up session with them soon as well. They're it was very positive, very positive.
Now, I remember the woman on the right-hand side that uncovered that fun was important to her. She kept resisting it. And it kept coming up, and she said, fun. And I said, so one of the challenges here is that people need to understand and get it. It's okay to get your needs met. It's okay to have needs. It's okay to be selfish. And selfish equals self-care. It's okay to care about yourself enough that you would only include relationships and things and jobs that satisfied you. So it's okay to feel good. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to want attention. It's okay to want acknowledgement. There's no judgment. So imagine, Sue, being in a relationship when one of your fulfillment needs might be acknowledgement, and you're not getting it from your spouse because it's not theirs. So,
and it's very valuable.
Purpose, I have a saying here what couples should be doing. Couples should be understanding what their fulfillment needs are. And if you want to stay in good rapport and have a healthy, loving relationship, then you'd want, just like if you deliberately bring flowers or chocolate or chicken home to show love, you would want, if your partner needed to be acknowledged and it wasn't your style, you'd still be able to say, hey, I just want to acknowledge what a great dinner it was. It's one word. It might not be one that you use, but it's what they need for theirs. So if you want to improve and grow a loving relationship, then do what you can do to fulfill your partner's fulfillment needs or satisfy them. I depend on it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I know that you actually use that in your working relationships with people as well. You get to know what their fulfillment needs are and you acknowledge them in the way that they want to be acknowledged, which is wonderful. Yeah. So it's very valuable information. And if couples do this, it's really important that they share that with one another. And it can be quite surprising sometimes. But if you realize that you don't have to be clones of each other, you've got different needs. And if you acknowledge that and you can support one another, why not? I mean, one other thing I want to mention, I think, about the whole life's purpose idea, Michael, I love that you've actually given people permission to feel joy. And that is a thing that a lot of people there's a guilt around it. I'm not supposed to. Life's purpose is doing something important. And at the end of the day, you netted it down to you can do important things as long as they're things that bring you joy. And it's very, very powerful for people to acknowledge that and realize that and then have this process of discovering it. So I'm so grateful to you for having kind of netted that out for people and helped them to give themselves permission to be it isn't self-care, it's practicing self-care. And when we practice self-care, we can show up in life as our best self. We're happier. And when we're happier, we're putting off those positive vibes, and we all know what happens when we put out positive vibes.
Yeah, the notion of being fulfilled is new to people, but the notion of being unfulfilled is common. When I started to use the word fulfillment needs, because I made it up, people knew what it meant because they know that they were unfulfilled. I said, are you unfulfilled at your job? Oh, am I ever? What if you could be fulfilled? Oh, really? How? What if you knew your fulfillment needs are? Oh, there's fulfillment needs? I didn't know that. Well, but they have different names. I heard you earlier use the name values, and some people call them values or drivers or things that are important to them. Right? So they're not new words. They're words you're already experiencing.
Mm-hmm. I think it's putting it in the context of giving yourself permission to do more of what you enjoy. Yes. And that really is the key of it, right? It's giving you that permission.
And so I'm asking people to make a paradigm shift here. If you remember the seminar in Victoria that you and I organized, at the opening, I just said, I'm going to ask you guys to make a paradigm shift. And a paradigm shift means a shift that spin your head around. It's like, what? Yeah, I just want you to, and that's the paradigm shift. Would it be okay if just for a few minutes that you had the idea that the purpose in life is to feel good? That is what the target is. The target is to feel good. And then once we know what the target is, then just like this little parking meter, we would say, what are you doing to feed the joy meter? Because it needs to be fed. Just like it was a campfire, it needs to be fed, either with wind or fuel or fire. So this doesn't stay there. What are you doing, not you, Sue, everybody, what are you doing to feed your joy meter? Well, I hope it's exercising these. I hope it's being deliberate, getting those met, because that's your purpose. Your purpose is to feel good. Yeah. And your strategy to feel good is to get your needs met.
And I think I shared with you that, you know, since we've been doing this work, I've got my fulfillment needs clarified, and it's caused me to change some things. So we share one. We like that attentiveness. So we like to be connecting with people and getting attention from them. And I do workshops now. I do more workshops than I ever used to do. I'm doing speaking engagements in a way, in many more than I did before. And then another one that I really enjoy is appreciation. I actually like to be appreciated, and frankly, I get that from, you know, my work all the time. It's wonderful, and I'm okay with that. I had to get my head around it. I felt at first it was a bit selfish, you know, but I said, wait a minute, Sue, it's okay, and I'm still doing good in the process, right?
Another good test around that is, did you get that need met in a negative or destructive way when you were younger? And if you did, it meant it's been with you for a long time. And now as an adult, like, you know, I was a show-off. I was a troublemaker in school. I was loud, and I was a comedian, or I'd be dancing on the speakers at the bar, anything to get attention. But that was a destructive way. At the time, I didn't know the difference between. I just knew I was getting my needs met, and as a result, I kept that differently.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Jessica Suzanne Douglas. She's saying, I agree, Sue. There's a huge number of people who don't feel like they have the permission to feel joy. Yeah, and that's my point. This is the paradigm shift, that it's okay to feel joy.
Yeah, it's giving yourself permission to do that, and realizing not only is it good for you, but it's good for everybody whose lives you touch if you show up in a more joyful way, because you're just spreading that positive energy, you know?
Yeah, and then I know people are going to be listening. They say, well, my job is to save the planet and heal the world. You can't do that if you're not happy. You can't do that if you're not radiating love and joy. So your first job is your own house. You know, make sure that your needs are met, and then you can help other people. Donna Hornick is from Manitoba, Canada. I think she might be there. So hello to Donna. She's saying hello to both you and I.
Hey, Donna.
And, Delia, she said, I love that. Influencing people positively and freedom. So she likes that. Juliet is agreeing with me, saying, I'm so like yourself. I'm so about talking intimate things. So, and that might be new to you, Juliet. So there are 3 words: into -me -c. Into me see. So Jessica, or Juliet rather, that might be important to you now that you know that. And I think that's what people learn, right, Sue? It's like they say, oh, well, I didn't know that was important to me. I guess it is.
Yeah, and you can then make conscious choices, right, to find ways to bring more of what you love, the things that light you up, into your life. And I find that, you know, it's so rewarding to see my clients, first of all, getting clear on it, and then actually taking steps to do it, right? I wanted to actually share with you some of the work. May I share one of my examples?
I'm going to tell you my barber story after you tell your story.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
So there was a lady that I know who I'd worked with who really had a very big decision to make related to her business. And we were actually about to line up a session to talk about it. But I said, you know, I just want to do this fulfillment session with you first, because it's so valuable, and I want to have it as input into the session. Well, she did the fulfillment needs with me. She got the results. She went, wow. That's fantastic. You know, I don't even need that other workshop now. I know what I'm going to do, Sue. I don't need that session. Just being able to identify those top needs made it crystal clear for her what she should do with her business. Now that's empowering.
Yeah, I love that point, because once you know your top 4, then you make decisions. One time I got offered, I live in Vancouver, Victoria, Vancouver area, so people know all over the world. I was asked to go to China, 16-hour flight, business class. Don't cry for me, Argentina, but it's a long flight. That's one way. So 32 hours in the air, a day to recover, to go to China to speak to 15 people for 40 minutes. And I said no. And they kept throwing more money. I said no. And then, because I wouldn't get my needs met, and if I did, it'd be for 40 minutes in front of 15 people with a translator. Could that be any more unsatisfying? Now, would I have gotten paid for that? Yes, but paid money is not a fulfillment need. However, money does create freedom for me. So So I want to tell you the story. Well, first, Jessica is saying, hey, looking forward to reading your book. I just signed up to receive the list. So you can go to hangoutwithmichael.com/life purpose. You can get the list. Speaking of the list, so last week I'm going to my barber, and I told him I was coming. He lives in the country, so I always make sure he's going to be there. And he said, oh, can I take you for breakfast before? In other words, can you coach me before breakfast or do an emotion coach session before I go to work? That's what the hidden message was. And I said, yeah, for sure. So I went and I met him. We went for breakfast, and I got out this list. And we did step number 1. It's on the bottom of the list. And then he's still not catching on, right? And then so I'm asking him some questions. We went through. Tell me about your last job. All the questions in the survey. And we were halfway through, and he looks at the list and he said, I never knew that. And what was surfacing, now barbers, they have a lot of you-know-what. It's an F word. You know what it is? It's freedom.
Oh, okay.
He starts when he wants. He leaves when he wants. He can make as much money as long as he can work. It's all freedom. He can go camping he just loves all that. So I helped him surface 3 of his most important fulfillment needs. And that conversation, he was thinking about a new career change. And one of them was working for the city 8 to 5. It pays well. And then we went to his fulfillment needs met. And I said, what would be missing? And you know what he said? That would be missing. That would be missing. So you can make more money over here, but you would have 0 fulfillment needs met. And that was profound for him.
Yeah.
It's like, could he have made more money? Yeah, we've all done that. We've all chased a job because of money. I remember having clients like 20 years ago that I didn't like for money, and it just doesn't work. I remember dating because I got asked. It's like you don't have to say yes just because you got asked.
Well, my own personal example was my career before I became a coach. I was in IT for over 25 years, and did it fulfill me? A little bit. When I was a resource manager for a while, yeah, a little bit. But really, the money was really good, and it was kind of hard to give that up, And I find there are many people who've fallen into something. They're good at it, but they don't love it. They're making good money, but they don't love what they're doing. And they've got to a point in their lives where they're saying, I'm not ready to retire, and I'm not ready to just keep doing this until I retire. I want to find out what I can do. If there's a way that you can bring what you love to do into your work and get paid to do it, can you imagine? Well, I can imagine because actually I'm doing it, and so are you, Michael. But it's possible. But you have to know. You have to have that information, and then you have to make conscious choices.
As we're talking, I'm remembering about a lawyer that I worked with from New York, and she liked her job, but she really wanted to teach. She loved law of attraction, and she wanted to teach other people. So she took my certification training program, and then she started teaching other lawyers about law of attraction so they could use it to attract. Boy, she found her sweet spot. So the point that I'm making is she stayed in the industry because she spent her whole life. You're not going to kick it out the window, right? She used her knowledge around lawyers. And then in my work, it's not my work, but it's called the Venn diagram. When 2 circles come together, like the Olympic rings, one of the circles was I'm a lawyer, and the other circle was I'm a certified law of attraction facilitator. Where they overlap was she does seminars for lawyers, and now she's doing it for their clients, but she's still a lawyer. She's still practicing law, but she's training, she's influencing, she's so happy. So instead of making a whole career decision, she said, how can I make the 2 fit?
Absolutely. And for me, I'm actually reaching out to the IT community again after a couple of years, and I'm just loving it because now I'm coming from a different point of view. I'm not in the industry, but I'm serving the industry, and I love that.
You found a sweet spot there. A couple more things, Sue. While I'm checking for new comments, let people know how they can reach out to you, please. And I want to see who else is saying what.
Okay. So you want me to tell them? Sorry, did you say?
Yes. Let people know how to get a hold of you, and I'm going to be looking for some new comments here.
Okay. I'd be happy to connect with you and tell you more about my experience of using Michael's amazing process in my coaching practice.
Okay. Thank you, Sue. Sylvie, we got a couple more comments, then we're going to sign up. Hey, that was a good 33 minutes. Sylvie Bellini, our friend from the UK, it's late for her. She's still up. Thank you, Michael, for giving us permission to feel joy. Sue is so right. Yeah, I guess we all need permission sometimes. If you think I'm giving permission to feel joy, go ahead and feel joy. Cindy Trost, can't wait to read the new book. Not just read it, have a pen and paper ready. It's
absolutely.
That means you need to do it yourself. And just a quick little scan, see if there's anybody else. I think we did it. I think we acknowledged everybody that said hello during today's Hangout show. Well, good. Yesterday during the live show, somebody went on Amazon and checked the price. It was $10.77. So $10.77. And if you're on Amazon Prime, it's a free delivery. So imagine on June 6th, you can either get it in the mail or the day after, but you can be reading what you need to do so you can live your life's purpose. Sue, thanks for hanging out and for spreading the word internationally and here in Victoria, BC. Let's say goodbye to our friends watching.
Bye, everyone. It was great hanging out with you.
Okay, everybody. See you later.